Hi everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Phoenix Wright's Ace Attorney, where we have called Officer Marshall to give his testimony. We went through it at the end of the last one. We're going to go through and press the statements now. So my job was to keep a wary eye on that bone orchard. What the hell does that mean? How exactly did you keep an eye on the evidence room? I just made sure nothing moved in the security camera monitor. That room's so still, even time dies in there. I was just a caretaker who interred the recordings. You interred them? Videos and nothing aren't that useful. When the time would come, I'd erase the tape. If nothing unusual is recorded, tapes are to be erased every 6 hours. Each time I'd erase a tape, it felt like I was erasing a part of my life. What was he going on about? This guy's a flair for the dramatic, but it isn't going to do him any good. So in actuality, you don't physically enter the evidence room? They said I was supposed to make rounds 3 times a day, but that ain't my style. I mean, that doesn't sound like you're doing your job, does it? But you made your rounds on the day of the crime, right? Ain't you heard a word I said, partner? I told you that ain't my style. ... I'm afraid I don't understand. No, Desperado, I know lets rules get in his way. No desperados I know join the police force. So, Officer Marshall, on the day of the crime? Just between you and me, I didn't set foot in the evidence room that day. There was a rubber glove stuck in the victim's locker. Do you know anything about that? Sorry, partner. Can't say I do. I haven't been in that crypt in weeks. How does this guy avoid being fired? That is a good question. Besides, the room is protected by 2 security systems anyway. You used to be a detective, so you've used the evidence room in the past, correct? Of course. Back in the day, my locker was a goldmine of evidence. And yet, you didn't know about the fingerprint locking mechanism. Sorry, partner. I ain't good with machines. I couldn't even tell you how a bike works. That's quite, incredible. The sensors on the locker handles cannot be seen. It's well known that some detectives are unaware of their presence. Now that he mentions it, Detective Gumshoe said something like that too. At any rate, it doesn't seem that this is relevant to the crime. Can you tell us what you were doing when the crime took place? If I remember right, I was at a street side saloon at the time it went down. What were you doing in a place like that? I was eating spaghetti. Not even Angel's steak lunches can beat that parlour's Vongol sepia pasta. Do you mean to tell us you abandoned your police duties to eat some noodles? No, desperados eat tacos, partner. That's not what I meant. I hope this has at least taught you a lesson. That's strange. This is usually where Edgeworth says, did you not want a raise this year? I'm just an innocent travelling man, so if you're out of ammo, it's time to hit the trail. Out of ammo, Officer Marshall? That's right, partner. Or as you'd call it, evidence. If you plan to pin me to this crime, then you'd better draw. Otherwise, you're just wasting my time. Okay. My steel horse is waiting to carry me back west into the sunset. One thing seems clear. Despite being responsible for guarding the evidence room, the witness doesn't appear to have seen anything. Texans don't take orders from anyone. Everyone knows that. Okay. Apparently your superiors don't. Okay, I have a trump card up my sleeve, so I'd best keep my cool. Okay, fine. Before I use it, though, I'd better up the ante. Okay, how do we up the ante without using the trump card? That's what I'm wondering. I mean, what have we got in our evidence? Let's have a look. So, Goodman's ID, Edgeworth's knife, Parkin's stub, Goodman's note, the phone, the floor plans. ID card record. Let's have a look at that. So, Marshall's saying he didn't set foot inside the thing, and honestly, I mean, can we prove that? Because obviously there's Meekins, there's Goodman, there's Edgeworth. I don't know who the Sevens is, honestly. The Sevens, to me, that that's going to be the key, I think, to all of this, but I don't know. Let's see what else we've got. Fingerprint set. Well, we know his fingerprints were on one of the lockers, right? So, do we have like a list of fingerprints we've taken? Screwdriver, lost item report, evidence room, rubber gloves, evidence locker, jar, Marshall's fingerprints. Is that what we want to be doing here? So let's see. They said I was supposed to make rounds. Room's protected. Oh, is it the thing? Okay, so which is the one where he's saying that he didn't go in? It's not that one. It's not that one. Not that one. This one. I think we present the fingerprints here to prove that he actually was there. I'm hoping it's this statement. Officer Marshall, doesn't it strike you as odd? That is, you being called in to testify like this. ... After all, you weren't in the security room at the time of the crime. And yet you dragged me down here. Explain yourself, partner. Okay, we can. It's quite simple. You left a very large trail behind at the scene. Or to be exact, a handprint. Listen real good, partner. Like I said, I'm the caretaker of that crypt. I pay my respects. That is, I make my rounds about once a month. It's only natural my fingerprints would be in there. I only wish it were, officer. But you see, your fingerprints were covered in blood. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Your blood-stained fingerprints were at the crime scene. The blood was wiped away, however, a luminol test clearly revealed this. Well, Officer Marshall? ... It seems to me there ain't a person in this room with a head on his shoulders. I take it you have an explanation then, Officer Marshall. About the blood-stained fingerprints. Very well, you may begin your testimony about your fingerprints, found at the scene of the crime. Okay, so another testimony. Blood-stained fingerprints. Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The bloodstain and the fingerprints are completely unrelated. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? See, I had nothing to do with it. How does he know the murderer was wearing gloves? The witness's explanation appears valid, although there's room for doubt. Life wouldn't be fun without any doubt, partner. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. This guy's hiding something, I can feel it. Okay. Now's my chance to prove it. So, I'm interested to know how he knows that the murderer supposedly wore gloves. Does it show that on the tape? Like I said, it's only natural for my fingerprints to be in that evidence room. We'll start by pressing. That's because you... How did you put it? Pay your respects once a month? Yeah, that's right. That and one more thing. That locker happens to be mine. What? What do you mean? I mean what I said. That's the locker I used when I was a detective. The locker I still use. All that's in there now, though, is a heap of broken dreams. I see. So whatever got stashed in that locker happened on the tape when the murder took place, right? So someone would have had to either prop his locker open, or it's him who stashed it in the locker. It'd be strange if my prints weren't all over that locker. Apparently his fingerprint data was never removed from that locker's programming. He must have been using the fingerprint lock all this time without even knowing it. Marshall's fingerprints updated. Okay. Fine. One of them just happened to be at the same place as the blood-stained handprint. So then, what about the bloody handprint? Wasn't mine, it's no mystery. Please explain. My locker is covered with my fingerprints. It just so happened. The murderer touched the locker where my fingerprint was by chance. The The chances of that happening are 1,000,000 to 1. On the contrary, one could argue just the opposite. The chances of that not happening are 1,000,000 to 1. Get one thing straight, partner. You ain't gonna get no reward for me with a mere fingerprint. You wanna know why? The bloodstain and the fingerprint are completely unrelated. Unrelated? They're as different as night and day. Kinda like cereal and cereal. One's got to do with breakfast, while the other's a type of murder. He's right. Although seemingly alike, they're totally different. I don't see what homonyms have to do with this. Or didn't you know the murderer was wearing gloves? How does he know that? That's the thing. How do you know that? I may be a loner, but I still do my job. I keep up on the reports. There was a bloodstain at the scene, thought to be left by the murderer. That's right. It was found on Detective Gumshoe's locker. However, no fingerprints were detected on that handprint. That's correct. Oh yeah, I think we tried that too. So that would mean the murderer, wearing gloves, happened to place their hand on top of Officer Marshall's fingerprint. That's the only logical conclusion. Are you starting to get the picture, partner? The picture? This seal of blood. In the desert, it's just food for the buzzards. There's only one reality, and that's this. The security tape. So long as my trail isn't in there, you can't say otherwise. Okay, so, this isn't getting us anywhere, Mr. Wright. Please consider carefully where you're going with this cross-examination. Yes, Your Honour. Now then, continue the testimony, Officer Marshall. Okay, so, too bad it wasn't me in that video, right, partner? So, let's have a look about this tape, maybe. So, SL9 incident files, security video, evidence locker. Can we, like, how do we speed up on this? Or can we not speed up now? I feel like we need to, so, yeah, I suppose he is wearing gloves in that video. Let's keep an eye on it. Are they gloves? I can't actually tell. Alright, so he does the little, this is when he attacks, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he could be wearing gloves, I suppose. Alright. So, is there a way of, like, pausing this or anything, or do we have to... I don't know, like, so it's in there now. Too bad it wasn't me in that video. What do you mean by that? You want to tie me to this crime, isn't that right, partner? ... If so, that video is the only direct evidence you have. But that video is next to useless, it's full of blind spots. Blind spots? Places you can't see. The camera's panning back and forth. The floor isn't shown. If someone was familiar with the camera's position, they could leave the room without being caught on tape. We don't have time for your speculations, Mr. Wright. Well, Mr. Wright, if you can show us evidence in this video that indicates Officer Marshall was present, please do so now. Show evidence, no evidence in video. Well, we're going to have to show evidence. And I'm guessing it's going to be when the thing appears in the locker. Very well. Allow me to point out your mistake, Officer Marshall. Tread carefully, Mr. Wright, or you might wind up being the one making the mistake. Now then, let's have another look at the video. Show us this incriminating evidence of the witness, Officer Jake Marshall. Okay, so let's speed up. I want to get to the point where we see his locker, because that's going to be the key, right? How would How would the locker have been able to be opened? The light isn't on above it like it is on this locker. So it can surely only be Marshall who opens this locker up. Okay, nearly there. Pause. Okay. Here. This is what I want to present. There. How's that for evidence? ... Please allow me to apologise for my colleague, Your Honour. He gets carried away sometimes. Yes, well, this certainly isn't a first. Will you forgive him too, Officer Marshall? He's not a bad man, just a bit disillusioned. Oh, did we click the wrong thing? Of course, I'm not the one to gun down unarmed boys. Oh great, now Edgeworth is defending me. Guess that means I missed the mark. Alright, so it's not that. So, but there's got to be, maybe it's the cloth rather than the actual thing itself. So let's how do we go again? Very well, let's get back to the cross-examination. Alright, no, so I wanna go back round to that. Not that. This. I wanna go back round to that. Yeah. Let's do it. Blind spots, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Yeah, get on with it, Edgeworth. Show evidence. It's kind of annoying you have to go through so much dialogue to get back to it. Okay, let's have a look at the video. So I'm guessing it's then the cloth rather than the actual locker itself. I thought it might be the locker because you would need the fingerprint to open the locker, but I guess maybe the cloth appearing in there is the contradiction. Which I guess would kind of make sense, right? Because it's a piece of evidence appearing in Marshall's locker during the duration of the tape. Right, let's pause. So we'll go there this time. Hopefully it's that. Bringing our attention back to the security camera is a mistake I'm afraid you'll soon not forget, Officer Marshall. ... The days are short in Texas, and so are our tempers. Could you sum up what you have to say in 8 words or less? Very well. You can clearly be seen in this video. Exactly 8 words. Not bad, partner. The key lies in a certain locker shown in the video. That locker with the white cloth sticking out. That was the witnesses, I believe. Now then, let's rewind the video a bit. I love this theme, by the way, that's playing now. It's really good. It's like the triumphant theme, right? I don't know what it's actually called, but... Oh, the white cloth. It's gone. What's the meaning of this, Officer Marshall? When the crime took place, the white cloth wasn't there. Then, it suddenly appeared. There's only one explanation. Officer Marshall, you were in the evidence room at the time of the crime. What's more, you opened your locker when the camera was turned away. Order! Order! It would seem that's the... Hold your horses. Sorry, Pup, but you got the wrong man. ... So what if my locker was opened? That doesn't mean I'm the one who opened it. Well, we will see about that, Marshall, but we're going to see about it in the next episode because we're out of time. So as always, thank you very much for watching. A big thank you to my patrons, Arcades Games, Wayne, Nate, Paul from the Phantom Fellows, Lyle, Hobo, Numinous, Kumadim, Paul Leone, Flossie the Sheep, JohnCom555, Chrissy, Paul James, Zolties, and Adventure Game Geek, and I'll see you next time.